The rescue. On a distant planet named Zoreth, the air was thick with tension. A war raged between two alien factions, each seeking control over the land and resources. In the midst of this chaos, a lone human soldier named Jack moved cautiously through the thick forest, his heart pounding. He had come to Zoreth as part of a peacekeeping mission, but now he was caught in the middle of a fierce battle. His orders were clear: protect the innocent and find a way to end the conflict. As Jack crept through the underbrush, he heard distant explosions and the sound of weapons firing. He ducked behind a large rock, peering out to see the clash of alien forces. Colorful beams of light flashed across the sky, and alien warriors shouted in their strange languages. Jack felt a mix of fear and determination. He had trained for moments like this, but he had never experienced anything so intense. Suddenly, a loud scream pierced the air, cutting through the sounds of battle. Jack turned his head quickly, his instincts telling him something was wrong. He followed the sound, moving stealthily toward the source. As he approached a clearing, he spotted a horrifying scene. In the center of the clearing stood an alien girl, Lyra, tied to a large tree. Her wide, frightened eyes reflected the chaos around her. Jack's heart sank. She was surrounded by 3 armed aliens, their weapons pointed at her. The sight of her helplessness stirred something deep within him. He couldn't just stand by and do nothing. Jack took a deep breath and made a quick decision. He could not let this girl suffer. She was innocent in all this madness, and he had the skills to help her. He quietly unslung his rifle, aimed carefully, and fired a shot. The blast hit one of the aliens in the shoulder, causing it to stumble back. The other 2 turned in shock. "Get away from her," Jack shouted, his voice steady despite the fear racing through him. He moved from behind the rock, confident in his aim and training. The 2 aliens hesitated, unsure of what to do. Jack took advantage of their confusion and fired again, hitting another alien. With a swift motion, he rushed forward, closing the distance between himself and Lyra. The remaining alien, now furious, raised its weapon to fire at Jack. But Jack was faster. He tackled the alien to the ground, pinning it down. They struggled for a moment, but Jack's training kicked in. He quickly disarmed the alien and rendered it unconscious. With the threat neutralized, Jack turned to Lyra, who was still tied to the tree, trembling with fear. "It's okay," he said softly, crouching down beside her. "I'm here to help you." Lyra looked up at him, her eyes wide with a mix of gratitude and fear. You saved me," she stammered, her voice shaky. "Let's get you out of here," Jack replied, pulling out a small knife. He carefully cut the ropes that bound her, freeing her from the tree. As the ropes fell away, Lyra rubbed her wrists, looking at Jack with wonder. "Thank you," she whispered, "but we need to go. They will come back." Jack nodded, scanning the area. He knew she was right. The battle was still raging, and they were not safe yet. "Follow me," he instructed, leading her away from the clearing. As they moved through the forest, Jack glanced back at Lyra. She moved quickly, keeping close to him. He couldn't help but notice how fragile she looked. Her skin was a soft shade of blue, and her long dark hair flowed like silk down her back. Despite the chaos around them, Jack felt a connection growing between them. "Where are we going?" Lyra asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "To a safe place," Jack replied. "I have a base nearby. We can regroup there." As they navigated through the thick trees, Jack's mind raced. He couldn't shake the feeling that Lyra had been through so much. What kind of life had she led? Why was she tied to that tree? He felt a surge of anger at the aliens who had captured her. Suddenly, the ground shook, and a loud explosion echoed through the trees. Jack stopped, heart pounding. He looked at Lyra, who had a look of terror on her face. "We need to move faster," he urged, grabbing her hand. Together, they ran deeper into the forest, trying to find safety. After several minutes, they reached a small cave hidden behind a thicket of bushes. Jack gestured for Lyra to enter first. "It's safe in here," he assured her. As they stepped inside, Jack's heart began to calm. The sounds of battle faded into the distance. Once inside the cave, Jack took a moment to catch his breath. He turned to Lyra, who was leaning against the wall, looking shaken. "Are you okay?" he asked, concern filling his voice. Lyra nodded slowly. "I think so. But what will happen now?" Jack considered her question. "I don't know yet, but you are safe here for now. I won't let anyone hurt you again." A small smile crept onto Lyra's face, and Jack felt warmth in his chest. In that moment, he realized that saving her had changed everything. He felt a responsibility to protect her, and he would do whatever it took to ensure her safety. As they sat together in the cave, the bond between them began to form. Lyra was not just a victim. She was a brave girl who had endured much, and Jack was not just a soldier. He was her savior, her ally. Together, they would face the challenges ahead. The battle raged on outside, but in that quiet cave, something new was beginning. Little did they know, their journey together would change their lives forever. A growing connection. The cave was cool and dark, a stark contrast to the chaos outside. Jack leaned against the stone wall, trying to gather his thoughts while keeping a watchful eye on Lyra. She sat on the ground, her knees pulled up to her chest, looking vulnerable yet strong. Jack admired her resilience. Despite the fear she had just faced, there was a fire in her eyes, a spark of determination. "What is your name?" Lyra asked softly, breaking the silence. "Jack," he replied, offering her a reassuring smile. "And you're safe now, Lyra." Her name rolled off his tongue smoothly, and he felt an unexpected sense of comfort in speaking it. Lyra smiled back, though her eyes still held shadows of fear. "Thank you for saving me," she said again, her voice barely above a whisper. "I didn't think anyone would come for me." Jack shook his head. "I couldn't just stand by and let them hurt you. No one deserves that kind of treatment." He paused, glancing toward the cave entrance. "But we need to stay hidden for a while. The fighting is still going on outside." Lyra nodded, looking down at her hands. "I was captured by the enemy," she explained, her voice trembling slightly. "They thought I was weak because I am an alien, but I am strong in my own way." Jack felt a surge of admiration for her. "You are strong. You survived. And now you're free. That says a lot about you." Lyra's eyes brightened, and she seemed to relax a bit. "I never thought a human would come to save me. Most humans think I am just a slave, not worth saving." Jack frowned, shaking his head. "That's not true. Everyone deserves freedom and respect, no matter who they are." She looked at him, her gaze searching. "You really mean that?" "Absolutely," he replied, his voice firm. "We're all in this together, no matter what species we are. You are just as important as anyone else." A moment of silence passed between them. Jack could see the wheels turning in Lyra's mind as she processed his words. Slowly, she began to open up. "I was captured when my village was attacked. They took me away, saying I would be their servant. I tried to fight back, but there were too many of them," she recounted, her voice filled with pain. Jack's heart ached for her. He couldn't imagine the fear and helplessness she must have felt. "I'm so sorry," he said gently, "but you fought back in your own way. You survived, and now you have a chance for a new life." Lyra looked up at him, her eyes shining with gratitude. "You are right. I must not lose hope." As the minutes passed, they shared stories of their lives. Jack spoke of Earth, the beauty of his home, and the struggles humanity faced. Lyra shared tales of Zoreth, of her family, and the culture of her people. They found common ground in their experiences, and a bond began to form. Just as Lyra was recounting a funny story about her childhood, Jack heard a distant sound. It was faint, but it sent a jolt of fear through him. He held up a hand to silence her. "Did you hear that?" he asked, straining to listen. Lyra nodded, her expression shifting to one of worry. "What is it?" "It sounds like footsteps," Jack replied, his heart racing. "We need to be quiet and stay alert." They both fell silent, the sound of their breathing filling the cave. Jack peered toward the entrance, his grip tightening on his weapon. The footsteps grew louder, echoing through the cave. He could hear voices, alien voices, approaching their hiding spot. "Stay close to me," Jack whispered, moving to shield Lyra with his body. They both crouched down, hiding in the shadows. The voices grew nearer, and Jack's heart pounded in his chest. He could feel the tension in the air, a palpable fear that threatened to overwhelm them. The aliens entered the clearing outside the cave, and Jack held his breath, straining to hear their conversation. "We must find the girl," one alien shouted. "She could be anywhere." Jack glanced at Lyra, whose eyes were wide with fear. "They're looking for you," he whispered, trying to keep his voice steady. "Why are they still searching?" Lyra asked, her voice quivering. "They won't stop until they find you," Jack replied. "But we're safe for now. They don't know we're here." The aliens continued to shout and search nearby. Jack could hear them moving around, their voices echoing in the forest. Each sound made Lyra shrink back, her fear palpable. Jack wanted to reassure her, but he had to stay focused on their escape. After what felt like an eternity, the aliens moved further away, their voices fading into the distance. Jack let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. "I think they're gone," he whispered, looking at Lyra. She nodded, visibly shaken but relieved. "I hate being hunted," she confessed. "I want to be free, to live without fear." "You'll be free," Jack assured her, determination in his voice. "We just need to stick together and stay hidden for now. I promise I will protect you." Lyra looked up at him, her expression softening. "Thank you, Jack. You are my hero." Jack felt a warmth spread through him at her words. He had never thought of himself as a hero, but in that moment, he understood what it meant. He was not just fighting for peace, he was fighting for Lyra's freedom. And that made all the difference. As they settled back into the shadows of the cave, Jack knew that this was only the beginning of their journey together. They would face many challenges ahead, but together they would find strength and hope. Little did they know, their bond would grow deeper, leading to a connection that neither of them could have anticipated. A plan for freedom. As the sun began to set, casting shadows over the cave entrance, Jack and Lyra sat together in the dim light. The sounds of the battle outside faded, replaced by a calm that felt both reassuring and eerie. Jack knew they couldn't stay in the cave forever. They needed a plan. "We can't hide here too long," Jack said, glancing at Lyra. "We need to find a way to escape this planet. Do you know where your people are? Any safe places?" Lyra shook her head, her brow furrowed with worry. "I don't know where my village is now. The last thing I remember is the attack. I was taken by force, and everything after that is a blur." Jack sighed, feeling the weight of the situation pressing down on him. "Then we'll have to find help. There must be other aliens who can assist us, or perhaps a way to contact your people." Lyra looked thoughtful. "There is an old communication device in the ruins nearby. It was used to send messages between villages. If it still works, we might be able to use it." Jack's interest piqued. "That's a great idea. Where is it located?" "It's in a place called the Old Temple. It's a bit of a journey from here, but I remember the path. It should be safe now that the aliens are distracted." "All right, then we should leave soon," Jack said, standing up and checking his gear. "Do you feel ready for this?" Lyra took a deep breath, determination shining in her eyes. "Yes, I want to be free. I want to go home." Jack nodded, feeling the surge of resolve. "Then let's do this. We'll find that device and get you back to safety." As they prepared to leave, Jack and Lyra carefully made their way out of the cave, scanning the area for any signs of danger. The forest was quiet, the air thick with tension as they stepped cautiously along the path Lyra had described. Jack kept his weapon ready, his senses heightened. The journey through the forest was both beautiful and eerie. The trees towered above them, their leaves whispering in the wind, while strange alien flowers bloomed in vibrant colors along the path. Jack couldn't help but marvel at the beauty of this alien world, but he remained focused on their mission. As they walked, Lyra shared more stories about her people and their culture. She described their customs, their love for nature, and their deep connection to the land. Jack listened intently, fascinated by her words. Each story brought him closer to understanding her and the life she had lost. "Do you think your people will accept me?" Jack asked after a moment, curiosity in his voice. "I mean, I'm just a human. They might not trust me." Lyra looked at him, her expression serious. "You saved my life, Jack. That is more important than anything else. If they see that you fought for me, they will understand." Her words filled Jack with hope. He could be a bridge between their worlds, helping to foster understanding and unity. "I'll do whatever it takes to earn their trust," he promised. After a while, they reached the outskirts of the ruins. The old temple loomed ahead, its once grand structure now overgrown with vines and foliage. It looked ancient and mysterious, a remnant of a forgotten time. Jack felt a mix of excitement and anxiety as they approached. "Stay close to me," Jack said, scanning the area for any signs of danger. "We don't know what might be inside." Lyra nodded, her heart racing. "I'll follow your lead." They stepped into the ruins, the air cooler and darker inside. Jack activated his flashlight, illuminating the crumbling walls and intricate carvings that adorned the temple. "It's beautiful," he whispered, awed by the artistry. Lyra smiled, her eyes sparkling with pride. "This is a part of my history. My people built this place long ago." They moved deeper into the temple, their footsteps echoing off the stone. Jack could feel the weight of history surrounding them, and he hoped that within these walls, they would find the means to change their fate. "Over there," Lyra said, pointing to a room at the far end of the temple. "The communication device should be in there." As they approached the room, Jack felt a surge of hope. They could do this. They could reach out for help and start a new life together. But just as they entered the room, they heard a noise behind them. A low growl followed by the sound of heavy footsteps. Jack's heart dropped. "We're not alone," he whispered, gripping his weapon tightly. Lyra's eyes widened in fear. "What do we do?" Jack glanced around, searching for an escape route. "We need to hide. Quickly." They ducked behind a large stone pillar, their breaths quickening as they heard the footsteps get closer. Jack peered around the edge of the pillar, trying to see what was approaching. To his horror, a group of alien soldiers entered the room, their eyes scanning for any signs of movement. "They've found us," Jack whispered, panic creeping into his voice. Lyra trembled beside him. "What do we do? We can't let them capture us." Jack's mind raced. "If we can reach the device, we might still be able to send a message. We have to be quick and quiet." The aliens moved closer, their voices gruff as they searched the area. Jack's heart raced as he watched them, hoping they wouldn't find Lyra and him hidden in the shadows. He turned to Lyra, his voice low and urgent. "When I say go, we make a run for it. Get to that device and activate it, all right?" Lyra nodded, fear mixed with determination in her eyes. "I'm ready." Taking a deep breath, Jack prepared himself. The moment had come. They had to act quickly before the aliens discovered their hiding spot. "On my count. 3, 2, 1, go." With adrenaline surging through him, Jack and Lyra burst from their hiding place, racing toward the device. The aliens shouted in surprise, and Jack felt a rush of energy as they sprinted forward. This was their chance for freedom, and he was not about to let it slip out of the communication device. As Jack and Lyra raced toward the communication device, the sound of alien shouts echoed behind them. They could feel the urgency of the moment pressing on their shoulders. The room was dimly lit, but the ancient device stood out like a beacon of hope in the center. Jack reached the device first, his heart pounding in his chest. It was a large console covered in strange symbols and worn buttons. Dust lay thick on the surface, but it looked intact. "This must be it," he exclaimed, glancing over his shoulder to see Lyra catching up. "We have to make it work," Lyra said, her eyes wide with determination. She leaned over the device, her fingers hovering above the buttons. "I remember how it operates. We need to input a frequency that connects to my people." "Great, let's do it," Jack replied, keeping a wary eye on the door as the alien soldiers searched the room. Lyra quickly began pressing buttons, her brow furrowed in concentration. Jack stood guard, his weapon ready. He could hear the aliens moving closer, their footsteps echoing ominously. "What's taking so long?" Jack whispered urgently. "We need to hurry." "I'm trying. The system is older than I remember. It's not responding as it should," Lyra replied, her voice tight with stress. Just then, a loud crash sounded from behind them. One of the aliens had knocked over a piece of debris, and Jack's heart raced. They were running out of time. "Focus, Lyra. You can do this," Jack urged, watching as she continued to press buttons frantically. With each passing second, Jack felt the weight of the moment grow heavier. The aliens would soon discover their hiding place. He stepped closer to Lyra, trying to offer her reassurance. "You've got this. Just think of your people. Think of freedom." Lyra nodded, her face set with resolve. Okay. Here it is." She found a series of buttons that seemed to respond, and Jack saw a flicker of light on the console. Suddenly, the screen lit up, displaying a series of symbols that Jack couldn't understand. "Is it working?" he asked, leaning closer. "Yes, I need to connect to the village's frequency," Lyra said, her fingers dancing over the buttons. "Just a bit longer." The door rattled as the aliens pounded against it, their voices growing louder. "We've got to hurry," Jack shouted, panic creeping into his voice. With one final push, Lyra pressed the last button, and the device whirred to life. A bright light filled the room, and a voice crackled through the speakers. "This is Lyra. Can anyone hear me? I need help." Jack felt a rush of hope. "Keep talking. They need to know our location. Please, we are trapped in the old temple. I'm with a human who saved my life," Lyra called, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. The response was immediate. "Lyra, we're coming for you. Hold tight." The voice sounded familiar, filled with urgency and concern. "Is that your village?" Jack asked, feeling a sense of relief wash over him. "Yes, it's one of my friends," Lyra replied, her eyes shining with hope. "They know where we are." Just as she spoke, the door to the room burst open. Alien soldiers flooded in, their eyes wide with shock. Jack raised his weapon, ready to defend Lyra and the device. "Get back," he shouted, taking a defensive stance. "Lyra," one of the aliens shouted, pointing directly at her. "You will come with us." "No," Lyra shouted back, stepping protectively in front of the console. "I will not go back." The aliens hesitated, clearly confused by the unexpected turn of events. Jack seized the moment. "Lyra, keep talking. Tell them we're in danger. This is our only chance," Jack urged, feeling the tension in the air. Lyra nodded, her eyes fierce. "Listen. If you take me back, the human will die. He saved me from your captors, and you cannot let this happen." The aliens looked at each other, uncertainty flickering in their expressions. Jack held his breath, hoping Lyra's words would reach them. "You must understand. If you want to save your own people, you must help us." Just then, the voice from the device spoke again. "Lyra, we're sending reinforcements now. Stay strong." Jack felt a rush of adrenaline. The cavalry was on the way, but they needed to hold their ground. "Lyra, can you stall them?" he whispered urgently. "I'll try," she replied, her voice steady. Jack glanced at the aliens, their expressions shifting from aggression to confusion. "You don't understand what you're dealing with," one of the aliens said, taking a step back. "The human is a threat." "Not if you let us go," Jack shot back, feeling the heat of the moment. Just then, the ground shook as the sound of engines roared outside the temple. "They're coming," Lyra exclaimed, excitement bubbling in her voice. The aliens exchanged nervous glances. Jack took advantage of the moment. "You have a choice. Fight us, or let us go and save yourselves." A tense silence filled the room as the aliens weighed their options. The voice crackled through the console again. "Lyra, we're almost there. Just hold on." With a sudden burst of courage, Lyra stepped forward. "You must let us go. You'll regret it if you don't." The lead alien hesitated, then barked an order to retreat. "Fall back. We cannot risk losing more soldiers." Jack and Lyra exchanged glances, both surprised by the sudden change. "We did it," Lyra shouted, a smile breaking across her face. "Quick, let's get to safety," Jack urged, and together they rushed away from the device, hoping to escape before the aliens regrouped. As they raced out of the temple, they could see lights flashing in the distance. Jack felt a surge of hope. They were getting closer to freedom, and he would do everything he could to protect Lyra. Together, they stepped into the light of a new beginning, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The escape plan. Jack and Lyra dashed through the narrow hallways of the old temple, the echoes of their footsteps mingling with the sounds of chaos behind them. The air was thick with dust and the scent of ancient stone, but they had no time to linger. The distant shouts of alien soldiers chased them, a constant reminder that they were not safe yet. "Where do we go now?" Lyra asked, glancing over her shoulder, her eyes wide with fear. Jack took a deep breath, trying to calm his racing heart. "We need to find an exit that leads to the outside. If we can get to the forest, we'll have a better chance of escaping." Lyra nodded, determination flooding her features. "There's a side door that leads to the back of the temple. I remember it from my childhood. Follow me." Without hesitation, she led the way, her slender form darting through the dim corridors. Jack followed closely, keeping his senses sharp. Every shadow seemed like a potential threat, and every noise sent adrenaline coursing through his veins. They reached a large stone door, ancient carvings etched into its surface. Lyra pressed her hands against the cold stone, her brows furrowing in concentration. "I think I can open it, but I need a moment." "Make it quick," Jack urged, glancing back down the hall. He could hear the aliens getting closer, their voices laced with anger and confusion. Lyra closed her eyes, focusing on the mechanism. After a tense moment, she heard a soft click, and the door creaked open just enough for them to slip through. They tumbled into a small courtyard surrounded by high walls. The sunlight poured in, bright and blinding, but it felt like a beacon of hope. "We did it," Lyra exclaimed, her voice filled with relief. "Now we need to move," Jack said, scanning the area. "Do you see a way out?" Lyra pointed toward a narrow gap in the wall that led into the dense forest beyond. "We can squeeze through there. It will lead us to safety." Jack nodded, and they hurried toward the gap. Just as they reached it, the sound of pounding footsteps echoed from behind them. The aliens were closing in. "Go. I'll hold them off," Jack shouted, pushing Lyra through the narrow opening. "No, I can't leave you," she protested, panic rising in her voice. "Just go. You have to get to safety. I'll be right behind you," Jack insisted, his tone leaving no room for argument. With a reluctant nod, Lyra scrambled through the gap, her heart heavy with worry. Jack took a deep breath and turned to face the oncoming threat. He had to buy Lyra time to escape. As the aliens burst into the courtyard, Jack raised his weapon. "Come on then. Let's see what you've got." The aliens hesitated for a moment, surprised by his defiance. Jack took advantage of their pause to fire a warning shot above their heads. "Stay back. I won't hesitate to shoot." The lead alien, a towering figure with sharp features, stepped forward. You cannot escape. Surrender now, and we may spare your life." Jack felt his grip tighten around his weapon. "I'd rather die fighting than give in to you." With that, he fired again, this time hitting one of the aliens square in the shoulder. The alien staggered back, howling in pain. The other aliens quickly regained their composure, shouting orders to surround him. Jack's heart raced as he realized he was outnumbered. He backed toward the gap in the wall, knowing he had to hold them off just a little longer. "Lyra, are you okay?" he shouted, hoping she could still hear him. "I'm fine. Just get to the forest." Her voice echoed back, filled with determination. With renewed strength, Jack took aim at the advancing aliens. He knew he couldn't hold them off forever, but he had to protect Lyra's chance at freedom. "Come on, you cowards. Is this all you've got?" he taunted, firing again to keep them at bay. The aliens snarled, their anger boiling over. They charged at him, weapons raised. Jack's mind raced as he calculated his next move. He had to find a way to escape himself. Suddenly, a roar erupted from the forest. Jack turned, his heart leaping into his throat. A large ship, sleek and powerful, burst through the trees, its engines roaring. "Lyra," he shouted, his hope soaring. "Jack, get over here." Lyra's voice rang out, full of urgency. The ship hovered just above the ground, its door opening wide. Jack seized the opportunity and dashed toward the gap in the wall. He could hear the aliens behind him, their shouts growing louder. As he reached the gap, he dove through just in time. The ship's crew, a mix of human and alien faces, watched him with wide eyes. "Get in, now," one of them yelled, and Jack scrambled aboard, his heart racing. Lyra was already inside, her face a mix of relief and worry. "I thought you weren't going to make it." "I'm here, aren't I?" Jack replied with a grin, catching his breath. The ship's door closed with a heavy thud, just as the aliens reached the edge of the forest. They shouted in frustration, unable to stop them now. "Take us up," Lyra shouted, her eyes shining with excitement. The pilot nodded, and the ship rose swiftly into the air. Jack looked down at the temple, now a distant memory, and felt a wave of relief wash over him. They were free. As they soared above the trees, Lyra turned to Jack, her expression fierce. "We did it. We escaped." Jack smiled, feeling the weight of the world lift from his shoulders. "And we're just getting started." With their hearts filled with hope, they looked forward to whatever adventures awaited them next, knowing they had each other to face whatever challenges lay ahead. A new life begins. The ship sailed smoothly through the endless sky, leaving the dangers of the temple far behind. Jack and Lyra settled into their seats, the hum of the engines providing a comforting backdrop to their thoughts. The crew, a mix of humans and aliens, busied themselves with preparations for their journey ahead. Lyra gazed out of the window, her eyes reflecting the vast expanse of space. "I can't believe we're really free now," she said softly, a smile slowly spreading across her face. "It feels like a dream." Jack leaned back in his seat, still trying to process everything that had happened. "It's not a dream, Lyra. We're alive, and we're together." Lyra turned to him, her expression serious. "But what happens now? I don't have anywhere to go. I've lost everything." Jack reached out and took her hand, squeezing it gently. "You have me, and I promise to help you find a new life. We'll figure this out together." Just then, the pilot, a tall alien with shimmering scales, turned around to address them. "We're headed to a safe planet. You will find refuge there, and we will help you both adjust." Lyra nodded, feeling a flicker of hope. "Thank you. I just want to feel safe." The pilot smiled. "You will be safe. This planet is a haven for those in need. You will be welcomed." As the ship continued its journey, Jack and Lyra talked about their lives. Lyra shared stories of her home planet, the beauty of its landscapes, and the joy of her childhood before everything changed. Jack listened intently, captivated by her tales. "And what about you, Jack?" Lyra asked, her curiosity piqued. "What's your story?" "Our future." Jack took a deep breath, his mind wandering back to his own past. "I was raised in a small town on Earth. I joined the military to protect those I love. I never expected to find myself in a situation like this, but I knew I had to help when I saw you." Lyra smiled, admiration shining in her eyes. "You're very brave." "I'm not brave," Jack replied, shaking his head. "I just did what anyone would do. You deserve to be saved." The ship began its descent toward the new planet, the lush green terrain coming into view. Lyra's heart raced with excitement and nervousness. What if they don't accept me? What if they see me as just an alien? "They'll see you as you are," Jack reassured her. "You're not just an alien. You're a person. You've got a heart, dreams, and a spirit. That's what matters." As the ship landed, the crew prepared to disembark. Jack and Lyra stepped outside, taking in the vibrant scenery. The air was fresh, filled with the scent of blooming flowers and trees. In the distance, they could see small communities bustling with life. "This place is beautiful," Lyra breathed, her eyes wide with wonder. "It is," Jack agreed, feeling a sense of calm wash over him. "And it's a chance for both of us." The crew welcomed them warmly, guiding them to a small settlement that welcomed newcomers. Jack and Lyra were introduced to the community, which was made up of various species working together in harmony. As the days passed, Lyra began to adapt to her new surroundings. She learned the customs of the people and participated in their daily activities. Jack was by her side, encouraging her and helping her feel at home. One day, while they were exploring the village, Lyra spotted a small group of children playing. She watched as they laughed and chased each other, her heart aching for the carefree days of her childhood. "Do you want to join them?" Jack asked, noticing her wistful expression. Lyra hesitated but then nodded. "I think I would like that." With Jack's encouragement, Lyra approached the children. At first, they were wary of her, but her gentle smile quickly eased their fears. She began to play with them, her laughter mingling with theirs. In that moment, Lyra felt a sense of belonging she thought she had lost forever. As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the village, Jack watched Lyra interact with the children. A sense of pride filled him. He knew they had both come a long way, and this new life was just the beginning. Later that evening, as they sat together under the stars, Lyra turned to Jack, her expression serious. "I want to thank you for everything, Jack. You saved my life and gave me a chance to start over. I don't know how I can ever repay you." Jack smiled softly, his heart swelling. "You don't have to repay me. Just being happy here is enough for me. I care about you, Lyra. We're in this together." She looked into his eyes, and he could see the gratitude and warmth reflected back. "You're right. We are together." As the stars twinkled above them, Jack and Lyra shared a moment of silence, both feeling grateful for their newfound freedom and the bond they had forged. Together, they would face whatever challenges came their way, united in their journey toward a bright EA love blossoms. Days turned into weeks, and Lyra and Jack settled into their new lives on the peaceful planet. The community welcomed them warmly, and they both found joy in their daily activities. Lyra discovered a passion for crafting, using her skills to create beautiful decorations from the natural resources around them. Jack continued his work with the community, helping them with security and ensuring everyone felt safe. As the sun set each evening, the two would often sit together, watching the stars twinkle above. Their bond deepened with each passing moment, and Jack found himself drawn to Lyra in ways he hadn't expected. Her laughter was like music to his ears, and her determination inspired him. One evening, as they sat under the shimmering stars, Jack turned to Lyra. "You've really changed since we first met," he said, smiling. "You seem happier." Lyra looked down, her cheeks turning a shade of pink. "It's because of you, Jack. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. You saved me, not just from danger, but from despair. Jack felt a warmth spread in his chest. I didn't do it alone. You're strong, Lyra. You've fought through so much and still found a way to smile. Lyra gazed into his eyes, and in that moment, something shifted between them. It was as if the world around them faded away, leaving only the two of them. Jack, Before she could finish her sentence, a loud commotion erupted nearby. A group of villagers rushed past them, shouting excitedly, "Come on, there's a festival in the square." Curious, Jack and Lyra got up and followed the crowd. They reached the square, which was decorated with colorful lights and music filled the air. Stalls lined the streets, showcasing crafts, food, and games. Laughter and joy surrounded them, and for a moment, Lyra felt like a child again. "Let's join the festivities," Jack said, pulling her into the crowd. They played games, tried delicious foods, and danced to the lively music. Lyra couldn't remember the last time she felt so alive. As the night wore on, Jack took Lyra's hand and led her to a quieter spot away from the crowd. The sounds of laughter faded into the background as they stood under the stars, bathed in moonlight. "Thank you for bringing me here," Lyra said softly. "I've never felt so free." Jack smiled, his heart racing. "I'm glad you're happy, Lyra. You deserve all of this and more." Feeling bold, Lyra stepped closer, her heart pounding in her chest. "Jack, I need to tell you something important." "What is it?" he asked, his voice steady. "I think I'm falling in love with you," she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. "You've shown me kindness, and you've made me feel safe. I never thought I could feel this way again." Jack's breath caught in his throat. He had felt the same way, but hadn't found the courage to voice it. "I feel the same, Lyra. You mean everything to me. You've brought light back into my life." Without thinking, Jack leaned in, gently pressing his lips against hers. The kiss was soft and tender, filled with the promise of new beginnings. Lyra melted into him, her heart soaring as she wrapped her arms around his neck. When they finally pulled away, both breathless, Lyra looked into Jack's eyes. "What does this mean for us?" Jack smiled, his heart full. "It means we're partners now. Together, we can face anything that comes our way. I want to build a future with you." Lyra's heart danced with joy. "I want that too, Jack. I want to explore this world with you, create memories, and build a life together." From that night on, their bond grew even stronger. They spent their days working side by side, learning from each other and sharing their dreams. Jack introduced Lyra to Earth customs, while she taught him about her culture. They were no longer just two lost souls. They were two hearts intertwined, facing the future together. One day, while walking through the vibrant marketplace, Lyra spotted a beautiful necklace made from shimmering stones. "I love this," she exclaimed, admiring it. "Why don't you get it?" Jack suggested. "No, it's too expensive," Lyra said, looking down. Jack smiled, taking her hand. "You deserve it. I want you to have something special." With a grateful smile, Lyra agreed. Jack bought the necklace, placing it around her neck with a gentle touch. "It looks perfect on you," he said, and Lyra felt a rush of warmth at his compliment. As the seasons changed, their love blossomed like the flowers around them. They participated in community events, sharing their skills and growing even closer. Jack found joy in watching Lyra shine, her laughter echoing through their new home. But in the back of his mind, Jack knew that danger could still lurk in the universe. They had escaped one peril, but he couldn't shake the feeling that they needed to be prepared for anything. One night, while they were stargazing, Jack turned to Lyra. "Do you ever think about what's out there? The dangers we faced before?" Lyra nodded, her expression serious. "I do, but I also believe in our strength. Together, we can overcome anything." Jack took her hands in his. "I promise to protect you, no matter what happens. You're my everything." "And you're mine," Lyra replied, her eyes shining with determination. In that moment, they both understood that their journey was just beginning. Together, they would face the challenges ahead, united by their love and the hope of a bright future.